Now, Paul, as you look at you from the back, I want you to, excuse me, think of this kind of as a stick figure pose, okay? So I'll draw L's up first. I'll go from the middle of his right ear down to the hip joint, down to the knee, and then down to the ankle. Okay, so if we do the same with you, you explain to me that you're at the desk 5 to 6 hours a day, which promotes a frustrating position for me. It's what we call C posture. Now, C posture, the problem with it, and it's kind of a big problem, is it's the hardest posture to maintain in the swing. There's 3 different postures. Neutral posture, there would be C, neutral posture like L's, C posture where you're rolled, and then what we call S posture where your back looks like the letter S. And so C posture is a tough one because if I hit impact, there's L's as he returns back to impact, and I push impact for you, you actually are pretty dang good, but can you see what happens there? What happens? When we have C posture, we can't rotate very good. So if we look at L's, we see a lot of his left leg. Well, his spine is flat. The spine is kind of our link between our 2 main power sources, our shoulders and our hips. So if it's flat, yeah, we can turn and burn with both the shoulders and the hips, but if the posture's compromised, there's not a whole lot of rotation there in your downswing. Now, part of that is lack of reps. You don't play a whole lot of golf. But another big part of that is that posture, the ability to rotate from a C posture. It's really, really tough, okay? Now, if I back this out, how about if I put another line off the rear end? Now, I'll put L's there. Bam. I'll go to impact with him. His butt stays back pretty dang well there, doesn't it? Yours stays back really, really well. So it doesn't really influence lower body posture. It mostly influences the spine as a whole, and it affects the ability to rotate both the shoulders and the hips. Now, the other big kicker here, it addresses how the shaft sits. 64 degrees. Now, we know your swinging equipment is not quite proper for you. I understand that better than anybody else, okay? So if we get your back flattened out, and today we'll kind of do it piece by piece. We don't want to upset you and go from one posture to a complete opposite posture. We'll neutralize it a little bit, okay? We'll get some of that C out of there, and I'll show you how to do it today before you get out of here. But I want to get that shaft angle down. 64 degrees is a real high number. You see L's is sitting more in the, he'll sit anywhere between low 50s to high 40s depending on the club in his hand. The other influence here that's a big one is just to square up your shoulders a little bit. You tend to aim a little bit right of your intended target. Not by much, but enough to influence what's happening. Now, if we put the 5-iron in your hand like you had in there earlier, you'll really be open. Most of us get open where our shoulders, in your case, would be aimed well to the right of your target at address. Now, if I move him back in his backswing, we'll watch a couple things here. So halfway back, the club head and the hands, they stay connected. So there's an old phrase in the swing, a one-piece takeaway, the club head, hands, and sternum, they stay linked up going back. As you go back, watch your right arm. It'll bow out. This is what I was showing you on another camera angle. It bows out away from your body. And there's not a whole lot of shoulder turn there. That's more of a byproduct of the posture and maybe awareness. But notice how close his hands and arms are to his body. So if I put up another line that goes off the chin, and this is a very important line to me, we'll do this one in blue. We'll bring it down here. Let me clean up that circle. Here's this chin line. And we'll do the same over here with you. Can't see your chin. Why? The left shoulder's smothering it because we're open with our posture. And also your spine, your head is heavy. Okay, heads are 12 to 14 pounds. Your head, the cervical spine has got some collapse to it, sitting at a desk, right? So he has his head up. Now watch him go back. Club head, hands, staying close. See how that right arm is inside that line? You'll actually go outside of it going back, okay? So this is a big part of the disconnection. There goes the left arm. It's out and away from your body. We want to get our hands in closer to our body, the shaft more aimed down the target line, and the shaft and the club head and the hands pretty much in a straight line. That's important because that affects how we can hinge the club up to the top. So if we look at where his shaft sits at the top, where's it going to be? Let's clean up the chin line. Here comes the shaft's back behind his left ankle. As you go up to the top, your shaft varies depending on the swing. It sits where? Let's clean up the chin line. It's going to sit, bam, forward of your ankle by quite a bit. Notice that blue line goes right through the back middle of his right knee. Yours is actually right on the front of your right knee. We're going to get that shaft more behind us. The other big kicker here is you can see how his right knee moves out toward the ball a little bit, but actually it's moving back toward the back camera, where yours moves out in front of the golf ball. Now as he starts his downswing, what does he do here? He drives his lower body first, and then he gets his back shoulder to drive down and back behind him, so the shaft stays behind his body. And then he just pulls with his right arm and turns down through the shot. Okay? Now remember, C posture is tough to maintain, right? So you'll go over. There's the right arm. I didn't even talk about the right arm. Let's back this back up so we can talk about that. Forgot all about the flying left elbow. Okay? So if we put him at the top, notice his left arm. It's tucked. It's folding. It's really, really tucked, and it's down. There's an old phrase in the swing, the elbows stay down throughout address and all the way through the shot. So we get that elbow to tuck. I'll show you how to do it before you roll out. But watch his elbow. It'll get in real close to his body and stay there. So right there is an important piece of our puzzle. You just kind of throw this shaft out away from you. Notice your right knee at the top of your swing. It moves out toward the front of the ball. Now it locks out. It acts like a piston. It moves back behind you instead of driving toward the target. Now here's kind of where you leak oil. The shaft gets out in front of your body, and the shaft gets out in front of the golf ball. So we're going to hit a lot of shots off of the heel, the hosel, or possibly the toe, because the arms are out away from the body. They'll redirect in and pull inward because they're so far out. Els does the exact opposite. His hands and his arms are in close to his body tight, and then he gets them to go out and away from his body as his body turns. And so there's a great shot for you right there. We see both of his hands out in front of his body. Now here you come. Your arms will go around your body. So right there, the shaft is parallel to the ground, just like his is. Your arms would be around the body, and there's not a whole lot of rotation still yet out of the body because of that damn C posture. Watch, we'll see his shaft only come out. So there's the shaft with him. If we look at that pretty intently, all we see is the shaft. With you, we'll see your right arm first, and then the shaft, what we call a chicken wing. Chicken wing's a big power zapper. That means the arms are going around the body instead of the body turning and the arms being out in front of the body when we hit it. Okay, after this, you're actually really, really good. Arms are a little bit of an issue at finish. Your body is not. You have a lot of rotation after impact. It's pretty cool you do it. You're just late to the party. You sure get into that front leg beautifully when you finished, and very, very well balanced, both with the 7 and some of the shots you hit with the 5-iron.